All right, so I got a joke for you. Two crabs are in the boiling pot. One crab says to the other, "Man, it's hot in here." What does the other crab say? "Oh my God, a talking crab." Pretty funny, right? All right, so today I'm gonna tell you why eating crabs isn't just an enjoyable meal, but it's a cultural pastime, especially for Maryland natives. So my 5 points are gonna be why it's important, my first time eating crabs, the different types of crabs, the fact that a crab is Maryland state crustacean, and what it represents to me. And my interest or my relevant statement is the fact that I was raised in Maryland from 2000 to 2012. So the first thing I want to talk about is why I chose this as my topic. So it's important to me because of the cultural value. Like I said, Maryland is where I grew up at. I grew up there in 2000, from 2000 to 2012. We ate crabs all the time, and I'll get into what it is to me personally, the sentimental value. But the cultural value is that it's, like I said, it's Maryland state crustacean. So it represents, if you're from Maryland, you know that eating crabs is a big deal. It represents the culture of Maryland, and then it just represents state pride. Like if you're from Maryland, you know that it's a cultural thing. And you have to have skill to eat crabs. You can't just eat crabs just because. Like you have to know what you're doing, know exactly how to eat them, and things like that. So because of this, I'll always remember my first time eating crabs, which was I was probably about 8 or 9 years old, and crabs have a hard exterior, and they're actually really pointy, really hard, sharp shells and things like that. So I'll never forget, I cut my hands in multiple places. I had cuts all over my hands from eating crabs, and I just remember telling my dad it was worth it. It was worth it because they were good. So, like I said, I'll never forget that just because it reminds me of home, and like I said, I'll get back into that. I'll get into more of that later. There are many different types of crabs. According to the Maryland government MSA the online manual, Dr. Edward Pappenfuse says that there are over 16 different types of crabs, and the different types of crabs are Alaskan, large, blue, and then there's more, but I won't bore you with the details. They vary in size and abundance. So this leads me to the cultural aspect of eating crabs. So, like I said, crabs are Maryland state crustacean. In 1989, the Maryland blue crab was designated the state crustacean. So it honors the name Mary Jane Rathbun, who actually served on the Maryland state government, or on the state on the board of council for the state government. All of this information came off of the official Maryland website, and so it shows that anything that's on its official tour guide website is gonna have some type of cultural value to it. So lastly, but probably most importantly, why I chose this topic is the sentimental value to me, what it represents to me. So, like I said, I grew up in Maryland from 2000 to 2012, and more than just a meal, it was always a sentimental value to me. We always had big family gatherings. It was always a time of fellowship and always a time of getting together and spending time with each other. Crabs, if you know anything about eating crabs, it takes forever. So you're always spending a lot of time together. And one of the biggest things I'll never forget is my grandfather. We always ate at my grandfather's house. He lived in Silver Spring, Maryland, and we would always eat in the basement. So anytime we went down into the basement, we knew it was time to eat crabs. And the one thing I'll never forget is he always had a bucket full of this, some type of special concoction. I guess some people have special recipes, some people have special desserts, but he had a special cleaning material that he used for your hands, because when you're eating crabs, you eat them with your hands. And so your hands always get really messy, and they always have a really bad seafood smell. So he always had a bucket of, I guess it was like pine sol and some different type of chemicals. I don't know, that's his special recipe. I guess he's taken to the grave with him. But had a special recipe for cleaning your hands, and I'll never forget that smell. Anytime I smelled that smell, I knew it was the end of a good album. My stomach was full, I was happy, we had some good times. And so it always holds a sentimental value to me. I moved to Texas in 2012. So I haven't had crabs in a long time. I haven't had one of those crab eating sessions in a good little while. But like I said, it'll always hold sentimental value to me. I'll never forget it. In conclusion, just a review of my main points. Maryland will always be home. It's one of the first original 13 colonies, so one of the first original states. I'll never forget that first time when I cut my hands up. And it's like once you learn, it's like riding a bike. Like I said, there is a certain style, certain technique to it. But once you learn, then you'll never forget, because you learn how to fill yourself up. And I'll always miss those days. I'll always miss the sentimental value and, like I said, the family fellowship and the reunions and things like that. Like I said, it's never simply just eating a meal, but it always carries a little more sentimental value, especially for us Maryland natives. You can eat crabs anywhere, but it's never the same as with family and in Maryland.